Hello. Can you believe it? In just how many days? We are entering into the month of December, that special month. Christmas. Oh, we love Christmas, don't we? Well, you know that the Standpoint is the first show to bring you Christmas. You know, we started like 3 weeks ago, you know. But for today, our topic is all about the family. Getting a happy home before we enter. In fact, we need to start the process before we enter 2018, because 2018 is going to be a super year for everybody and we need to get it right. Marriage and happiness. Do they have anything in common? Can you be married and happy? Is it possible? Or marriage equals unhappiness? Well, today we are going to start from the right place, the pastor's home. Marriage and happiness in the pastor's home. We've heard over and over again how some pastors' wives are really, really unhappy. But who do they have to talk to? Can we even get them on the Standpoint to come and share their experiences? No, because they are supposed to be super spiritual. Well, my name is Gifty, and welcome to the Standpoint. Today we have a show and a half for you, so you don't want to miss it. Let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth Ophelia Crossland design source for me. Makeup products by Paba Cosmetics and applied by Makeup and More. Today, my headgear is by Chic Tababla. We take a break. When we come back, we are looking at marriage and happiness in the pastor's home. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Standpoint, and today we are looking at a very interesting topic: marriage and happiness, the pastor's home. A happy pastor is equal to a happy congregation. Yeah, a successfully or happily married pastor will definitely reflect on the marriages of the church members. Is this true? Well, we'll find out later. Let me say thank you to Walmart Africa. They produce Frytol cooking oil, and Frytol is on a campaign to make sure that you cook that special meal that you are so good at. That special meal that when you cook for your dad, when you cook for your husband, when you cook for your wife, your children, your friends, you know you'll get exactly what you're looking for from them. Yes, they will just do it for you without thinking twice about it. We are also sponsored by Fortune Rice. Fortune Rice comes in 3 variants. The green package one is good for the soft dishes. That's omotuo and rice water. Orange package one, excellent for wachi. And then wine package one, good for fried rice and jollof rice. You don't want to miss it. Thank you to the African Women's Development Fund, AWDF. And remember, this program is also aired on ABN TV, which is across Western Europe, parts of Canada, Asia, and North Africa, on Sky Channel 235. Our website, www.thestandpoint.com, is powered by Dream Oval. Today, what a topic. And I have the right people with me. Seated right next to me is Prophet Jones Cosina, founder and general overseer, God's Haven Ministries, and we affectionately call him P. Jones. Welcome to the Standpoint.
Thank you, Gifty.
In fact, he was the one we're having a discussion, and then he brought up this topic. And I also visited Uncle Ibo just a few weeks back, 2 weeks back, and then we got talking, and he said, we need to tackle this. So next to him, I have Uncle Ibo White, playwright, storyteller, and a novelist. Welcome back to the Standpoint, Uncle Ibo.
Thank you. It's good to be back. And Utinkwan.
This weekend, what's going on? Okay, but why did you hide the title from us for so long?
Because we didn't have it. It took a while to agree on the title, so it was not intentional. But the title is Nicholas.
Oh, okay, Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first time we're doing a biographical play.
Okay.
All the plays we've done, all the 36 plays we've done have been fictional.
Oh.
This will be the first time we're doing a true life story of a living person who can be identified, who can testify to what we are doing. And we picked that person because of the incredible contribution he's made to Ghana.
Okay.
And we picked him also because Hollywood wanted a story so bad, we decided we would beat Hollywood to it. And that is what we've done.
And who else to do it but Uncle Bo?
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting this weekend.
It is
Saturday,
exciting.
Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday, that's right.
Okay, yeah. So Saturday and Sunday, we are looking at 26th, 27th.
25th and 26th.
25th and 26th.
And then the weekend after that one.
The weekend after that one.
4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day.
Okay. As a man of God, what is the most important thing to you?
My family.
Apart from God?
Yes, my family.
And when you talk about your family, how do you...
When I talk about my family, I'm talking about my wife, my children, and they are very important in my life because God, according to God's structure, God first, family second.
Really? Is that the structure? God first, family second?
Yes. Even when you go to the Bible, it talks about the fact that if a man is not able to handle his home well, he shouldn't be allowed to, shepherd the flock, which means God placed much emphasis on family. So when you are able to handle your family very well, then you'll be allowed to handle the flock. So that's why the family is dear to me, because I have to prove myself for God to endorse me and approve of me. The first family that was created, when God created the heavens and the earth, and put man in the garden, he created a family. He did not create congregation, but rather created a family, which means that family is God's heartbeat, which there is a need for us to pay attention to it. Other than that, we can even lose heaven because of that.
That's serious, Uncle Bo. You can lose heaven if you don't get your family right.
Let me make a confession. I'm married in 83. I married at a time when I was on fire for God.
Okay.
I was very much on fire for God. Even though I was not a minister of the gospel, I was very much involved in the work of God in the para-church organization, mainly Youth for Christ and Scripture Union and that kind of thing. Now, I was a artistic director for a Christian drama troupe we called J Theatre, which was a drama wing of Youth for Christ. And whilst at the same time I was doing my normal work, I had gone to Kumasi for a trip for business.
Okay.
I had been gone for 4 days, but I knew that the group would be meeting on a Sunday. Okay. So I made sure I rounded up everything I had to do. I was held up in Kumasi because of the nature of the business I had gone to do. So I could not return on Saturday. I returned on Sunday. But knowing that our meetings will start at 2, I made sure I was in Accra at 1:30, which meant that I had just enough time to put my bags home and dash to the meeting. Now, I get home, and my wife, Florence, is there, and she's happy, of course, to see
you back.
To see me back, and is welcoming me. And I didn't have time. I said, wait, look, when I come back, we'll do welcome. So I put my bag there, and I am leaving. And Florence said, you won't leave. You can't leave. I said, you can't come between me and my God and my service to God. So she stood at the door and said, I won't let you go. And I said, I won't allow any woman to stand between me and my God. So I lifted her in my hands like that, off her feet, and threw her out of the way. Got into the car and took off. Still feeling very self-righteous, that the woman wanted to stand in the way of my service to God.
There was a Jezebel.
I have dealt with her. I'm going. I'd gone just about 300 meters when the Spirit of God said, where's your wife? I was driving. Where's your wife? I could hear that clearly. Where's your wife? And I had walked with God for quite a long time, so I knew the voice of God. So I said, Lord, you won't believe what that woman tried to do today. She tried to stand in my way of going to minister. And God said, turn around, go back home. I said, Lord, no. I am already running late. And you know, in this group, we have taught the value of not running late and things like that. So there's no way, if I went back, I would be late. The Spirit of God said, why are you going to the meeting? I said, I'm going because of you. I'm serving you. He said, then I am saying, go back home. So I did a U-turn and went back home. And of course, when I went home, Florence was devastated. She was crying her heart out. I went, and once I got back home, went to apologize to her. We made up, made love, that kind of thing. Make up love is always
the best.
It's always wonderful. So
for married people.
So we finished, and then she asked, have you eaten? No, of course I hadn't eaten. All right, so she says, and we start eating together from the same bowl. Went through the whole, I miss you, and that kind of thing. And then she asked, are you not going for meeting? And I said, well, but you stopped me from going. I said, no. I did not stop you from going. I did not like the fact that my husband has been gone for 4 days and comes back and has no time to at least ask how I was and to reconnect with me again before going. He said, that is what I didn't like. So I don't intend to come between you, and I know how much it means to you, but you are also a husband, and you were not playing that role well. And that was what I was calling your attention to.
Me too.
So he said, go, I'll be fine. And I said, well, then why don't you come along? It was the first time I was going with her to the meeting since we married. Yeah. And she had been a part of that ministry, so there were people who knew her, who she was a mentor to them. And when we got, of course, we were about 1.5 hours late.
Okay.
But when we walked into the meeting ground, there was such an excitement at seeing her. People were going to her, telling her about their issues and all kinds of things. And that was way back in 1984. Even now, I still meet people who refer to that meeting day, say it was a turning point in their lives.
Wow.
That meeting, that atmosphere that was created that day has been the thing that has carried them all along. So I learned to put my wife above my ministry the hard way. And in a very shameful way. God had to stop me on the distance. So yes, I learned it that way. Others may learn it on a program like this. We tend to forget that God loves to see us honor him at home. That's our first ministry grounds. If you are not a pastor at home, you can't be a proper pastor outside home. Your first ministry grounds. And when you honor God there, not only would your ministry prosper, but you guarantee a legacy after you. Because one of your biggest joys will be one of your children taking after you and doing even better than you are doing. And that will happen only if your example at home was so awesome that the child decides, I don't want anything more than what my father had.
And I wonder how parents feel now when you ask their children, who's your role model? And they mention other
somebody
people.
else. Yes.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
And that tends to happen a lot.
Which means, the father is not setting good example at home. We have been married for 13 years. And the 5th year of our marriage, that is when my wife sat me down and counseled me.
Yeah.
And I took that counsel, and ever since, my life my family life has never been the same. You know, I was a minister of the gospel before she married me. And it's all about ministry. So passionate about, God moving, to rural areas to go and preach the gospel. I know, fasting and praying and all that. That has been my life. And my wife is the quiet type. But at one time, he said, "Look, enough is enough. Pastor, sit down. Let me talk to you."
I like that. Pastor, sit down.
I said, "Look, what are you talking about here?" He said, "No, I want to pour out. I'm fed up. You for once you have to listen to me." I said, "Okay, talk to me." And then she spoke about 3 hours. "You don't have time for me, you don't care for me, you don't even know my needs, you don't even know me. You've been married for
5 years.
5 years. You don't even know me." I said, "I know you. You are Grace." And I said, "No, you don't know me. I'm not happy. For 5 years, I've not been happy in this marriage. You have to come back home and learn. Differentiate pastor and then function as a husband." So I realized that I wasn't doing things right. So I took that counsel and I started behaving like a husband.
Let me take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about it, because it will take somebody with the spirit of humility to take that from his wife.
Yes.
Especially being a pastor, not just a pastor, a prophet, operating before you married. And then, while you're watching The Standpoint, thank you to Gogot Yogurt. As a woman, yogurt is good for you. So if you need yogurt, go for Gogot Yogurt. EcoSpa Mineral Water. Water is alive. And then, of course, Veraldo Pear Malt Drink by Casa Preco Company Limited. Matamis gives us the port. Yep, cleaning services make sure our environment is clean all the time. Whatever we do, we have them supporting us. House of Foods, Auntie Vera, I can never stop mentioning your name, and people wonder why, but you are such an amazing woman. Thank you so much. Cake Technique, ever faithful. We are so grateful to you, so grateful to you, because without all these support, it will be impossible for us to put this program together. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to The Standpoint, Marriage and Happiness, the pastor's home. Today, my head wrap, in fact, my head wrap was done for me by Shika Gio. She is the CEO of Chic Tababla. Yes, you get there and you get all the head wraps. She'll teach you how to do it. She's excellent, amazing woman there. So get in touch with her. Thank you to GTP for my cloth Ophelia Crossland design sews for me. Once again, congratulations to Ophelia Crossland. She's an amazing woman. She's the only African, first ever African to exhibit in the recently held exhibition at in Dubai, organized by Swarovski. Yes, only African and first African. And she's a Ghanaian young lady. So proud of her. Put your hands together for her. Amazing woman. Yes. And then makeup products by Paba Cosmetics and applied by Makeup and More. Uncle Ebo, is it something that men of God and sometimes women of God are getting wrong? Over spiritualizing everything?
I think it is a shortcoming of men in general. We single task. We can't multitask. When a businessman is giving his time to business, he doesn't see that as service to God, and therefore it is easy to make him feel guilty that he's not caring for home.
Yeah.
In the case of a man of God, it becomes a little bit more difficult because who can argue the fact that you need to give God your very best?
Yeah.
And I am giving God my very best. So that becomes a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. And they can make you feel bad when you complain.
And you, the pastor, can also be made to feel bad that you are not spiritual enough, you are becoming carnal by the members, because the members also play a role in this. When you're working with people, especially for a pastor whose members feel they own you, you know, if Prophet buys a new car right now, if I buy a new car, I don't have church members who are going to say, Uncle Boy, do you understand me? If he buys a new car right now, in fact, a new suit, they are going to go.
You have that experience, eh?
Very true.
They're going to go, yes, okay.
Want that money?
Yeah. So church members feel we own him. And the pastor feels carried along by that. It's difficult, but I believe that programs like this would all help us all. That church members, let's be sensitive, because the pastor is also a human being, and sometimes they need their space. Unfortunately, they don't often have the money to be able to go out of town from time to time and take a holiday.
Yeah.
Indeed, if a pastor takes a holiday, the members are likely to say, you've taken a holiday. The devil does not take holiday.
Yeah.
And you are taking a holiday.
A holiday, yeah.
We'll make them feel bad. So it gets a bit compounded, but the basic of it is that men generally have an issue with balancing things up.
And the pastors, I mean, it's I don't know if I'm exaggerating when I say that it's a common knowledge that a lot of pastors' wives are not happy.
That's very true. I want to talk about out of experience.
Okay.
You know, for the 5 years that I wasn't doing things right, I mean, when my wife comes to church, the way she sits alone, you can deduce something out of the posture.
Yeah.
That something is just not right.
Right.
When you greet her, the way she will respond, you know, you yourself, you will realize that something is just not right. And it wasn't like a member has provoked her. The husband has provoked her or wasn't doing something right. Maybe she needed an affection, you know, and the husband was not there to give. But when I repented, I realized that when we even make love and I stand on the pulpit, I'm able to preach very powerful and prophesy accurate.
Yeah.
But in those days, I was thinking that I have to fast and pray, you know, tarry before the presence of God. You know, so my attention, that one rather, I wasn't much effective. But when I gave my attention to my wife, we are cool, we laugh,
your spirit is free.
Your spirit is free. I mean, you come and stand there and you know that you have cleared every doubt. The atmosphere is cleared. You know, when you are preaching, when you are making an example, you don't get negative feedback.
Yeah.
What is my wife thinking?
Yeah.
You know? Because your wife, when you mention her, you should handle your wife well.
And then she's looking at you.
And then she look at you.
Yeah. And she's sitting in front, looking at you.
Show them affection. Then say, you are not showing affection.
Yeah.
And you are telling somebody that you should show affection, show love. So I realized that I'm able to set that example, give that example, because I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But if I was, before, when I wasn't doing it, I wasn't bold enough to say those things, you know. And if pastors can learn this, I mean, that your ministry ends in the church. I mean, auditorium. When you come home, you are a husband, you are a father to your children. so that you can feel free and play with them. You know, because the temptation is that the way the members treat us, when you go, I mean, oh, Papa, you know, Prof, you know. So when we come home, we want our wives, our children to do that. So there's no, I mean, we don't flow.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean,
Pijos, I'll come back to, let me go to Uncle Abel. You know, what we talk reminds me about the pastor in the deal.
Yeah. Yes.
The pastor in the deal, you know, exactly, you know, what we are looking at. But that's the other angle that where Prophet Cosina, you know, ended. I cut him, forgive me. I paused, forgive me. But communicating with the wife, knowing that this is not preaching matter. This is a husband-wife talking.
I think it has to do with our upbringing, the way we are raised, And, of course, pastors are human beings. It is easy to criticize them, but we should seek more understanding than criticism. And what I have seen is this, that especially if you're a good boy, if you're a Christian, he was already in the ministry before he married.
Right.
I am sure one of his strongest messages was against fornication. You understand me?
Yeah.
So you are raised, you are preaching against fornication, but your psyche begins to process that sex is wrong. Romance is wrong. You know, it gets into your mind. It gets into your psyche. Nobody, and then one day you say, I do at the altar, and nobody gives you any other orientation for you to realize that now sex is part of your responsibility to this woman. So you still carry that thing, and that is why a pastor cannot see himself praying, having an intimacy with a wife, and then moving from there to pray. Because in his mind, as soon as he touches his wife, he has become, exactly. He does not realize that we don't often understand that the marriage bed is holy and it is not defiled. So what happens on the marriage bed does not contaminate the couple. So that is one key thing that we don't help people to understand. All you hear is, stay away from this, stay away from this, stay away from this. Then you get married and it's still there. You know, it's still the same thing. You need to make the transition. I teach people that if we understand marriage properly, marriage is God's play. It's God's theater in which the man plays the role of Jesus, the woman plays the role of Christ, of the church. Yeah. So I must be able to look at Florence and say, if you want to know how Christ will live with the church, look at how I live with you. It is that spiritual. It is that level. If you want to know how Christ cares and would sacrifice for the church, look at me. Florence should also be able to tell me that if you want to see how the church would be devoted to Christ, look at how devoted I am to you. If we don't get that one right, then we'll get a lot of things very wrong.
So biblically, it should be that simple. It should, if you to go to what the Bible describes marriage, the pastor's home should be the happiest home in terms of marriage.
Except that then, so far we've talked about this and we haven't brought in the other angle. We haven't brought in the woman. You know, we've been concentrating on the man. And the woman. The motive with which the woman came to marry the Osofo, what kind of woman she is. If the pastor does not make the right choice and does not look for a woman who has a spiritual depth to her, and you married her just because of the shape of the legs, you know, and I'm using legs because
Uncle Ebo likes legs, beautiful legs.
I like legs, so. He likes it, but he can't admit it. And so if you look through the church and you pick the most beautiful may not have any spiritual depth to herself.
Yeah.
You need somebody who on her own could also have been a minister. but she's not been called. So that helping you and supporting you becomes her ministry, and she understands the concept of ministry. Now it's become, in many cases, it's become fashion. But that's the second thing. The third thing is the reality of the spiritual warfare. That as long as the pastor has it together, as long as the pastor is doing everything right, as long as the pastor is happy and fulfilled and his home is correct, hell is in trouble. Satan is in trouble, and Satan knows that.
Yeah.
So he also makes sure you don't get it right.
Right.
He will make sure there's no peace.
Right.
You know, let me even add a little bit, to what Uncle Bruce have just said about the woman being the pastor, and maybe the husband being something else, like a businessman or something else. You know, there are times that the woman devotes her time just for ministry also. You know, cleaning the church, counseling people and all that, praying and all that. You know,
from Belko.
that's right.
And prayer meetings.
And prayer
Prayer meetings,
You know, but neglecting what will keep the husband. You know, food, sex, and keeping herself well. There are times that you go to,
So simple and short. So men of God are men. Perfect. Food and sex. Those are the two things that the men want. Let me take a break. We'll continue on this. I love my panel today. Well, this time party is sponsored by the African Women Development Fund and Walmart Africa. Walmart Africa produce Frytol cooking oil. And Frytol is on a campaign to get you to bring out the best meals that you can prepare with Frytol. So look out and participate in it. Fortune Rice is also by Walmart Africa, and they come in 3 variants. We have the green package one, good for soft dishes like amutuo and rice sota, and then the orange one, good for wache, perfect for rice, for jollof rice and fried rice, is the wine package one. So don't miss that. We take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this discussion. Welcome back to the Standpoint. I'd like to say thank you to Jandel for our beautiful Christmas decor. Jandel, call on them anytime. They'll sort you out. They catered for my wedding, and I trust them. We are grateful to them. La 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 Foods, they support us with natural fruit juices, all the natural fruit, asana, sobolo, what have you. The sobolo, they have the ginger, the lemon, the pineapple, the whatever. Even if you want the pepperish one, they'll do it for you. Cake Technique, House of Foods. Yep, cleaning services, Matamate, and of course, Duffy Hair. Duffy Hair, normally, all the wigs are wear from Duffy Hair. Today, I have a turban, but it's okay, still Duffy Hair. And Tababla, Chic Tababla. She did my wrap for me today. Let me go to the audience. Anybody with a question?
My question is, there is this pastor I know, and he has been married for some years, having no issue, no child. And they've gone for medical tests, and he has realized that he has a reproductive problem. He can't make children. Now, my question is, how, as a pastor or as a man of God, how are you able to preach the message of faith to your people or your members boldly, knowing that you have this problem? And even how do you even encourage your wife who is down and wants a child?
We would have to begin from to understand that marriage is complete without children. I know that in Ghana, many people marry solely to make children. And that is the wrong way. Then don't marry at all. Just go ahead and have the children. But if you're going to marry, the marriage is complete without children. But the fact that you can't have biological children does not mean that you cannot also raise children. You can adopt children. You can become the kind of home that is open to people to find their home there. And that is what I think would work. I've been married since '83, So that is 34 years. We don't have biological children, but we have children. God has blessed us with quite a lot of children. So we dedicated our childlessness to the service of God. We made a conscious effort. We don't have children. We are dedicating the fact that we don't have biological children to you, or living God. Show us how we can use it to serve you. And what it did was to send us children to raise, to help, to inspire, to motivate.
So, in conclusion, P. Jones, how do we get it right?
I believe strongly that the pastors should come to a place to realize that they are human. They have, the human aspect is there. That's why they are called man of God. The man aspect is there, and the God aspect is there. So when we come to realize that, we have these two to satisfy, then we'll begin to function in it. When there is time for you to be a man, just be a man. Sometimes we misinterpret spirituality. When they say one is spiritual, then you are thinking about somebody praying in tongues. But I see spirituality as maturity. Pastors will have to, demonstrate a lot of maturity, when it comes to their marriage or their home.
Indeed, Uncle.
I would just say that church members must see it as their responsibility to help the pastor build a good home. So when you are going to call, a lot of married women will not take it if somebody called their husband after 11. But we don't hesitate to call a pastor at that time. We don't hesitate to call the pastor at 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
And our first question will be, Pastor, are you asleep?
Did I disturb you? Did I disturb you? So let us learn to keep, to respect the space of the pastor. And we need to pray for our pastors that they would continue to honor God. I respect them. I've said that it will be difficult for me to be a pastor because I have too many weaknesses to be a pastor. But thank God they have people we can go to. Yeah.
But so if, as a pastor, you can get your home right, you will get your church right. You
are a powerful person. Because what we didn't talk about is the role of the Sofomami in being your first prayer warrior. When she's happy, she will support you with her prayer and with her life. In a marriage, the man covers the home, but the wife covers the husband.
That's right.
And so if you're if you're not treating your wife right, you don't have a covering.
That's right.
You'll be knocked out, you'll be knocked down. But when you've made her happy, her prayer alone for you, because they pray better than we do. No matter how spiritual a man is, when a woman is praying, she prays.
And they pray with passion.
Oh, they pray with passion. So your wife is your first prayer warrior. Make her happy so that your covering is never cut off.
Well, we have a package for you from Walmart Africa. We have all their products. There are 3 variants of their rice, fortune rice. They have their fry-tol. You have a frying pan and a cooking pan.
Wow.
And then they have a new product, sunflower oil, called Exceller sunflower oil. You have it all there for you. And just go and cook for your wives. Okay, and then the first 4 people who got here today on time also have some parcels. We have some packages from Walmart Africa for them. So next time, you make sure you get here on time. Hey, this one. And thank you to students from GIJ who were here to be part of the audience and all the friends and family. We take a break. When we come back, give you a bit of me. You must know what your purpose is in life, what your calling is, what you want to do, what your interests are, what your ambition is. If marriage is not part of it, do not go into it. Marriage is definitely a beautiful institution. I love to see people married. I love wedding cakes. There's no way I can love wedding cakes without loving marriage. I appreciate marriage. But there are too many of us married women who are suffering in silence just because of the ambition or priorities of the men we are married to. He's a pastor, so his first thing or his first calling is church, congregation. He's a chief. He's a lawyer. He's a minister. He's this, he's that, he's that. But in all that, whatever profession, your first responsibility to qualify you for heaven on earth, apart from God, is your home, your marriage, your spouse. If your wife is happy, to quote Uncle White, if your wife is happy, there's nothing you lack. The power of a praying woman, do not mess with it. Yes, we'll talk about the women too on another day, but today we are talking about the men and the men of God. Let's get it right. 2018, we hope to get it right, and we are starting right from now. May December be a month for us to remember, a month that we'll all see our marriages turned around, a month that we'll all begin to take the walk together, husband, wife, children, knowing that there is a reason why we were brought together as man and wife, aside our professions. Interestingly, it's always said that when the woman has a post, no matter who she is, executive, whatever, when she's at home, she must know that she's a wife, so she must perform her wifely duties. Mr. Osofo, Mr. Whoever, I salute you too. When you get home, you are a husband now. My name is Gifty, and as always, my super crazy faith in God keeps rising, and I'm holding on to it tight. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.